This is the B-side, B-side, B-side of marriage. This is the B-side, B-side, B-side of marriage.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Bside of Marriage Podcast. I am Rashonda, and this is my husband,
Jason.
And this is a podcast where we talk about everything related to marriage, parenting, all of it, the good, the bad, the A and the B side. And we just want to thank you guys for listening and watching this another episode. Thank you for sharing, for commenting. We love to keep that going, keep that energy going, because we're not professionals at this. This is just something that we do, something we love to do, we're passionate about. We just want to make sure that everyone that, that's in a committed relationship, that you can be successful and you could always win and meet your max potential.
Amen.
Okay, amen. See, you always take it there. Anyway, so let's go to our first and only segment where we talk about our ARB Side Moment from our week. Jay, take it away.
So I guess I'm going A-side moment. It's a moment. But I finally, it's been a while since I actually went back to the gym working out. And for me, I've always been that type of person that, like I said, I just need a workout to do something. Mm-hmm. I don't need a personal trainer. So I actually got a workout, and I started my workout and feeling good. Just, doing some cardio. So I'm enjoying it so far. So
good stuff. Oh,
your turn now.
I don't have that same testimony yet. I do need to get back at it, but not yet. I'm also going to do an A-side. When we came back from vacation and transitioning to back to school and me trying to catch up with my schooling, it was a crazy week. It was a long week. And some of our friends came over on Sunday and we acted like we were college students again. Just hanging out. It was like, oh, we need to eat. Let's eat. Oh, we were just hanging out. And it was so crazy because Sunday is a weekday because we all had kids and the kids were here. The kids were having a great time. And it was just like, oh, I guess we do need to at some point be responsible again and get these kids to bed and stuff. But it was good just to have a break, just have that mental break. Because what do? Talk and laugh. Mm-hmm. That's literally, there was no agendas. Like I said, we were like, oh, it's about time to eat. Probably need to get some food.
I was at work. It wasn't.
Yeah, it's just me, the girls, and kids. So it's just good to just be able to do that. And it wasn't planned, but I think it was something that we all needed to kind of just take a break from our crazy schedules.
Take a breather.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. We paid for it on Monday, but it was great. It was great while it lasted. Yeah, so that was my moment.
So what are we talking about today?
Yes, speaking of back to school and stuff, today we're talking about transitions and how to deal with that within your marriage, and just in life in general. Mm-hmm. Okay. First of all, when we talk about transitions, most people, especially when you say life transitions, people think you're talking about death. Mm-hmm. But there's so many things that impact your relationship that can be major like that, like a loss of a person. But really, it's just the mundane, the small changes that if they go unchecked in your relationship, can create issues down the road. So since we're talking about back to school, so let's just keep going on with that line of thinking. So it's easy to think, oh, now that the kids are back to school, that we go back to the back to school schedule and our back to school routine or whatever. But it's different this year. And it's easy to get caught up in that, oh, we're doing the back to school routine and just kind of go back to how that, you know, whatever you did last year.
Yeah.
And for us, that did not look, it doesn't, them going to school now does not look the same as they did going
last year. Yeah.
Right. Because first of all, we have all three going.
Mm-hmm.
Also, two, we are letting our oldest be a bike rider.
So he's pretty much riding the bike by himself. Sometimes, like I'll ride in the morning with him, but a lot of times he's going by himself. So.
Right. And that's what, like, we're trying to build trust and responsibility with him, because next year he'll go to a different school. Mm-hmm. So this is helping him understand, like, and be accountable for getting up early or getting up in enough time to get situated and get out of the door and to school to be able to lock back up and everything and get to school before the tardy bell. Mm-hmm. So this is helping him in that transition for him. The two youngest, well, we were trying to make walkers, and that did not go well.
Too hot.
Me. It's too hot, and honestly, kindergarten is still too, like, we live close to the school, but it's still too far for Micah to walk. It's just, and then trying to lug around a wagon or a scooter or something for him with all the kids that are back face to face, it was just too congested and just too chaotic. So now still having to do car riders for them. But even that, and getting up, like our getting up and getting out routine is different. Mm-hmm. And so we can't just continue to do what we used to do, even though the transition might have the same title, but it's a different, is at a different stage of life. It's a different phase of life. Yeah. So it's not the same. So that's what it's like. And I feel like when you do all these little things, and also too, with me going back to school, like I have schoolwork. So what does my day look like even when I come home? Mm-hmm. What do you expect the day to be?
Are you asking me the question?
Well, I don't know if I want you to answer. Okay. But I'm just saying, these are like questions that you have to deal with, because it's like, before it was because the car rider, because I had to come back so I can go to work. Yeah. Now I have school. Now we have B-side. Mm-hmm. So it's like, how are we managing that? And before, we were all juggling this when they were home for the summer. Mm-hmm. So now we're juggling it with, school and all that. So I feel like if you allow too many of the small transitions to go unchecked, you'll look up in a couple of weeks, in a couple of months, and you feel disconnected from your spouse. So although I used the school scenario to kind of point out like how a small transition can impact your marriage, that is truly like the season that we're living in now, that we're having to try to figure out how does our day-to-day operate now that school's back in session. Yeah. So and it's like, and I can easily see, because I already know, like, we came back from vacation, although it was a family vacation, so it wasn't really like relaxing, and I didn't come back restored or refreshed. It wasn't that kind of vacation, but I can already see we're not even a full week in, and I'm just like, the schedules, the juggling of the schedules, the overwhelm of all the tasks. So Jay and I actually had to have a conversation about what does it look like to manage, the household now. Yeah. Because I found myself easily going back into that routine of what I did before. Mm-hmm. Oh, I did this and I did that, and so therefore I can still do this now. And that may or may not be the case. And so what happens is that you become, as you deal with transitions that are unchecked, you start becoming stressed. Your anxiety level starts increasing. Your sleep habits start being impacted. You actually you could start feeling some resentment to your spouse. Because it's funny. No, it's funny because it's like, because I feel like at times when you're at work, you get a break. Yeah, you're dealing with work craziness, but you don't get all of the craziness.
Oh no, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And so that's why I laugh, because it's like, oh, he gets the least, and then you have your commute in, so that's like your time to get it together before you have to like deal with people. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like trying to lock the door. I'm like, okay, mommy needs a break. Yeah. So anyway, so just want to kind of talk about that and just making sure that we're not, that we're doing the best we can to manage them. Understanding that some transitions are easier to manage versus others because some can be unexpected. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about that. Now, these are not our personal recommendations, but I found an article from Dr. Womack, who is a psychologist, and she gave some recommendations on how to some recommendations on how to deal with transitions. And we just taken those and make sure that they apply to your marriage or your family unit.
So I guess before we do that,
okay,
I kind of, because something what you just said kind of reflected our first week basically.
Okay.
Because with us coming back from vacation and literally jumping right into school, there was multiple transitions that we was going through, and within those transitions, it brought more stress and, like I said, increased the stress for you, and which caused some anxiety for you.
Yes.
So, like I said, it's interesting you bring this up because it's like, and kind of like you said, me going to work. I think about this, but it's like I don't know how to address it because I don't want to address it over text message. But then I don't want to bother you because I know you're trying to move through this this transition right now, trying to figure out, schedule with school, with taking the kids, picking up the kids, all that stuff's like, and I didn't want to, I say, bombard you with questions because I didn't want to elevate any more stress that you had.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, so I tend to, like, especially with, when school starts, I tend to kind of, not say pull back, but I kind of wait for you to kind of talk to me about it because I don't want to elevate anything else if I'm asking you a question about it. Because I know you have your to-do list of things you got to do, and especially with us coming back from vacation and having to get back in school, I know you had papers and stuff, so I was like, I'm not gonna bother her. Yeah. So it was like, we conversated, but we didn't actually touch upon this transition of when we got back.
We have not, and that's fair because what I found, which is why I mentioned the resentment piece, is because you have like a reset time. If it's to and from work, or if the game is slow and taking forever, you can kind of have your thoughts about you. But what I found myself is just that I was just getting things done. So I'm just like, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just like, I'm not going to try to figure out a routine. I'm just trying to get things done so we can get caught up. Because that was my whole thing. I was like, I want to get caught up because I felt behind. I think although the vacation timing as far as the park was great, it was a little chaotic. It wasn't the best timing for us as a family because we literally got in that morning, took a nap, and then had to meet the teacher. And because of the number of teachers that we had to meet, that actually took a significant amount of time. And then we were still then we had to go to the store because we had to make sure that they had everything for their at least the first day of school as far as clothing and stuff. So I don't think the timing worked out, and because of it, I was just like, I just got to get everything done. Let's get caught up. Okay. Then when we get caught up, we can have a conversation on what is the best routine. The problem with that is that I don't know if I've necessarily caught up.
I don't think you caught up either. So,
and because I feel like I haven't caught up. Also, we're still trying to figure out things. So like I said, we initially thought that we were going to do walkers for the kids, for the littles. And then we realized that didn't work. So now it's like, okay, we're doing a car. So how does that work? They have their Aiden and Ivy have after school activities. So it's like coordinating that.
Yeah.
And that time may change. So that's what it's like. I kind of feel like we're still trying to get the basics covered. So I'm just like, so how do I make up a routine?
Yeah.
So I think that's just like kind of everything's still up in the air. And I don't want to, and I don't know, like I don't have the answer. So I don't know if there's like, we just make a routine and, adjust as needed before it gets too far away. That makes sense?
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't know. And then with the school introducing new concepts, because now they're in a house system. I don't really know what all that means, but I do know that they have to wear their house colors on certain days. Yeah. And my poor daughter, bless her heart. Well, she said, she came to me at the end of last week. I think that's after they had announced that they'll, what the house system is and blah, blah, blah. And she comes to me and she's like, Mommy, I won't belong to a house. And I was like, this is before I got the email. I was like, wait, what are you talking about? You belong to this house. What are you talking about? You're Adams. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she was like, no, at school. And I said, well, why do you feel like you won't be put in a house? And she was like, because there's no pink house. I said, oh. Bless your heart. I said, well,
she was going by the color.
I said, well, Ivy, you won't always get to wear pink. So I go, this is an opportunity for us to try different colors and to see how we can, make other colors work for us.
That's hilarious.
Yes. So. But when she brought that up, it raised a great point. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, she doesn't have any of the house colors. Because literally her wardrobe is pink and purple.
Pretty much, yeah.
Or gold.
Dresses.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, okay, so now that's something else. I got to make sure I add red into her wardrobe. So.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's just like, even like the small things have created significant, I would say it hasn't created a significant issue, but it's been a time suck.
Yeah.
So after getting them to bed, because I had to make sure, because Sunday we had too much fun. Yeah. So yesterday I had to make sure, okay, they need to get to bed on time or as close as on time. I had to redo her hair. So I was like, I need to get her close to bed as normal so that we won't have two slow starts to the day. Yeah. But at the same time, that means I can't go to the store until late.
And so I have to go to bed. And mind you, I'm at work.
Yeah.
She'd going to the store when I would probably, be at home with the kids or vice versa.
Yeah, because you would have been home. You could have helped do bedtime and then I could have left.
She could have left early.
And I wouldn't have had to go to all the stores.
Yeah.
And then because it was so late, it's like only certain stores are still open at that time. And apparently that's not a popular color for girls. At least at this part of the season, in this season. So I was like, okay, so she might be wearing pink. And just be like, I tried. So I was like, even I feel like the small things kind of can blow up a schedule, because I had a schedule of what I was, or I had my to-do list of what I was trying to accomplish after they did go to bed. And then now I'm like, okay. And then now I'm like, okay, so now we're Tuesday. Tuesday's our recording day. So I'm just like, okay, well, that takes the morning. So now I'm looking at the afternoon. And then, so that's why I feel like I haven't been able to really catch up. But I have to still be able to, I still have to be able to.
Sorry,
I'm
sorry. It's got in late last night, so
yeah. So all right. So we get into the tips.
Yeah,
I don't want you to fall asleep.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So first tip is to prepare when you can. And that's what I was talking about a little bit earlier. Some of these are planned and some are not. Some transitions are planned and some are unexpected. So if you know something's coming up, like you're starting a new job, or kids are going back to school, or you're going to start working out again, so we need to change the way we eat, or all that stuff. If you know that a change is coming, to try to plan ahead as much as possible. And
is it a certain time frame? Like when you say plan ahead, like how?
No.
Okay.
I feel like as soon as you know the change and you know some of its impacts, you try to prepare for those changes. Okay. Because there are going to be other things that change that you might not realize will be impacted by whatever it is. So you just have to deal with those as they come. Gotcha. But if you know ahead of time, like I said, especially because you're working out, so that's going to mean your schedule's going to change. Mm-hmm. So that will be something. Oh, well, then I know I'm going to now plan to do this workout on these days at these times. I can go ahead and put that in the family calendar. Yeah. No. So I don't have the expectation of, oh, I thought he would be doing this. Yeah. Or whatever. So I just kind of think as much as you can prepare in advance before something. Now I know I keep going back to school because it's like literally when I'm living right now. But I knew that we were going to be out, so I tried to order all the kids' clothes. Yeah. So that they would be here when we got back, so they could just do one massive try on, and then I can return things as my schedule permitted. But just not realizing that one, our oldest, is in men's clothing, and I don't like it.
10 years old.
I don't like he's in men's clothing and shoes. Both of them I don't like. Yep. And then my youngest, apparently the French fry diet caused him to lose weight. So
French.
So I'm putting on his outfit and he's like, my shorts, they keep falling down. Why, son? We tried these on.
And they don't have the elastic.
They
close it up. So yeah.
So also too, that's what I'm like, well, since I'm out here looking for a red shirt, let me find some adjustable shorts for my son. So yeah. So even though I tried to plan ahead, it doesn't always go smoothly. Yeah. So therefore, you gotta just keep going with it. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, this recommendation literally speaks to what I was just talking about. It says, set reasonable expectations.
What is considered reasonable?
That I don't know because I don't do it.
Like, what is considered reasonable?
Let's see what she says. She says, unmet expectations can create frustrations or stress. If you expect that navigating a transition will just be a breeze and it doesn't work out that way, then you feel yourself feeling disappointed. This is us, that is we. We are them.
Them. Okay.
Because we set up some expectations that are not reasonable, and then when they're not met, we feel disappointed. Mm-hmm. I definitely do that to myself. I'm like, oh, this should go this way. Also, too, especially with my husband, I'm like, oh, he's going to respond this way because he's responded this way in the past. Oh. So this should be how that goes. And it doesn't. And then I'm just like disappointed. Yeah. So that's why I said I don't set reasonable expectations. For me, you already know I'm most critical of myself. Mm-hmm. So I believe that I can move mountains in a day. And then when I can't move those mountains, I'm flustered and I am staying up late because that mountain needs to be moved.
Today. I'm opposite. I'm the opposite.
Yes, he is.
I'm just, I'm the type of person that is, that if it doesn't happen right now, it's still gonna happen. I'm just like, I'm not gonna push it like it's gonna happen.
Not always.
Yeah, you're right, but
I can say sometimes I'd be like, what are you doing? Oh, because I said I was going to do this, so I'm going to do it now. at 10 o'clock at night. Like, what?
Yeah. But
So yeah. So she just recommends. And it's okay to, and she also said, like, it's helpful to remember that feeling stressed during a transition is completely normal. And not to just become I'm adding this, and not just to become overwhelmed with that transition.
Okay.
Just let it ride the wave. She might have it later on, so that's why I'm not gonna. Oh yeah, she does. Okay. And then her third recommendation is develop a routine. And that's something that I know really works when you're trying to manage a transition. I'm see what she says about timing. Okay. She just says, consider creating morning and evening routines to facilitate a sense of consistency. And this is something that I definitely am implementing now. Well, I'm getting back to it and I'm implementing now. Yes. So our youngest, he's a picky eater. So I literally have to make his lunch every day because it's just of stuff that I think he may eat. Yeah. It's not the healthiest, but he eats. So instead of stressing and trying to make that every morning, especially because the majority of it, even the stuff that needs to be refrigerated, I can put it in the area of the refrigerator and just grab that and put it in his lunchbox. So anyway, so I'm starting to do that. I'm also, so I guess what we're in now, the phase we're in now is we're building our routines.
Correct.
So I'm like, okay, what can we add to our evening routine that will take away some of the stress in the morning? So also too, what I'm going to add to the evening routine is for the older two to check out what's for lunch the next day, so that if they're going to take lunch, they can go ahead and make it the night before. Yeah. So there's these things that are these systems, routines that I'm trying to put in place right now as we build this new morning and evening routine, at least for school. Yeah. Everything else, we're just working. We're kind of winging it. We're just winging it. And I think that's what brings the most anxiety because I'm the planner. And that was one of the things. I'm like, okay, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, I need to plan my upcoming week. Yeah. I have my color-coded pencils and pens, and I didn't do it. And here we are. We're Tuesday, and I have yet to plan the rest of the week. So that makes me anxious. So then it's a battle between, do I plan or do I do? And that's why nothing's happened in my planner. I haven't planned, but I need to plan to do.
So
I think I feel more grounded.
Okay. I was going to ask you, like, what if you don't plan and just do? How did that make you feel?
It makes me feel. Wait. So if I plan?
If you do but do not plan to do, how does that make you feel?
I feel as though I'm missing something, or I have the possibility of forgetting something important.
Okay.
So it's easier for things to come, and it's so weird. Okay, so if I plan a week, it's easier for me to be able to fit in things that come up suddenly. Because I'm like, because I already know, well, my Wednesday I was doing this, or my Thursday looked like this, and this came up. So now I can easily move this thing here from that day. Okay. Versus when I have a blank slate, I don't know by me taking that on to do today versus tomorrow, how that really impacts what else I have.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that's why I said I just need to plan it.
Okay.
And I think I will feel better in managing all the moving parts.
You need to plan to do, not just do.
Correct.
Okay.
Because also I might be doing something that isn't a high priority when I look at everything else I have to do.
Okay.
Because it's like, I need to wash the dishes. Well, actually, I need to fold laundry. But compared to everything else I have to do, that's a low priority. Yeah. So.
Gotcha.
Now, when my hamper is full,
Like
and I
mine
still
right now.
have
And
a load of laundry to fold up.
Like,
We'll have to deal with that.
I gotta go to work tomorrow, and I don't have any clean clothes. I gotta wash.
Okay.
Today. So.
See? So yeah, develop a routine. Okay, her other point was check your self-talk.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one, though.
It's a good one. I stay in my head.
Because it says, what type of things are you saying to yourself? Are these internal comments helping you cope with this transition, or making the transition more challenging?
Oh, you don't want to know. That's why I'm glad they're internal thoughts. And so, but one thing I do as far as our relationship, what happens is I go silent.
Mm-hmm.
So if Jay doesn't know that something's going on, when I'm silent, he knows something going on. And when so that means I'm not verbalizing out loud, which means the conversations that are going on in my head.
Yeah, just like not even the conversation, the things that are going in my head that you quiet, it's like, okay, what is going on? And it makes me, I think about things like, did I forget something? Did I do something? Did I not do something? Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Who's that? Because I have a one-woman show all over. Mm-hmm. But a part of that is also to checking my thoughts is truly checking my feelings.
Mm-hmm. Because
I might feel a certain way doesn't mean that that's fact. And so what I'm learning to do is to, if I'm not going to verbalize them out loud, to at least journal and write them down, how I'm feeling, so then I can actually then deal with the truth. Because I can feel like, so I don't have a real life example.
That's what I'm trying to.
But
I think I know what you're saying.
All right, so I can come home. I'm gonna fudge a little bit, but okay. I can be responsible for meal planning, grocery shopping, doing the grocery ordering, doing the pickups, coming home and cleaning, and cooking. And then you can come home and eat dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So I could feel unappreciated.
Okay.
Because of all of the things I did. Because you can easily say, oh, did you not get a chance to do, let's say, a post? And I'll be like, but
I know I don't say stuff like that.
I'm just, for an example.
Yeah, I got you.
So maybe I didn't get a chance to do that one thing, but I did all of this, and I cooked you dinner, and you couldn't even say thank you. So I could feel unappreciated. And that is all on me to do everything when that wasn't your intent.
That's funny.
So that's not the truth. So that's what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
That's an example of
I say it's funny because I literally just saw a post about something like that, about, a husband excited because he knocked 2 things off the list for his wife, but then she comes home and say, why didn't you take the trash out? And he's like exactly what you're saying is like, but I did what you asked me to do, and so
right.
That's why.
So that's where your feelings are not equating to what's truth.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah. So that's why I have to tell myself, I might feel that way, but that's not what is the truth. And if I feel as though that is the truth, then I need to bring it up to you and be like, okay, when you did this, here we go with the I statements. When you did this, I felt unappreciated, or I felt like you're made, or I felt like you didn't care. So that we can get to the true, I don't want to say feeling, but to the truth of it. To get to the truth.
What it really is.
What was behind all of that. So, and then it could be, and then that actually I feel like will be a good segue into having the conversation of, okay, well, if you're feeling overwhelmed and you thought I felt I didn't appreciate you, then what is it that I can take off your plate?
Yeah.
So.
No, nice.
Okay. Set small goals. That's the next tip. Set small goals. And this has been, I think this is really, really, really good. The more I interact with my oldest, the more I realize that he is me. He is like, this is the problem, or this is the thing that I have to do. How am I going to get all that done? I need to get it all done now.
They can work together.
We're working through it.
Yeah, but because there's so much.
But that kind of goes to the whole.
Go to your dad.
Listen, but his priorities are my priorities.
I know.
So this is why he says this. My son had a project that he had to get done over the weekend. I too had a paper due over the weekend. So what I tried to do.
Pause for it. So, mind you, I'm home and I told my son, don't mess with your mom. She's writing a paper. If you got anything you need, you come to me.
But this is also too, because I was day 2.
Yeah, I was day 2.
So we started on Friday. On Friday, I tried to give him some pointers or some advice to make it a little easier for him to get it done and get his project done quicker. And also so he wouldn't waste all the ink and paper. So I was just like, you don't have to print every little thing. So anyway, so I was trying to be efficient as well as effective. And I tried to set him up. And then I'm like, okay, but mommy is still working on her paper. So I need you to go and use this. Well, when things don't go the way that he feels like it should go, he throws a fit. He's like, I can't. And I'm trying so hard. And I get it. But at the same time, that's your project. I had a paper. And I gave you my best advice. I'm trying to help you out. You're being resistant to it because he also thinks he knows everything. So I'm just like, you have to go figure it out. You go figure it out. You do it the way you want to do it. So then day 2, Jay's home and Jay's like, come to me. And this is what I don't understand because I'm still working on my paper. But yet he keeps coming to me. And he's like, well, and then I think what it is because he wanted me to say good job. That's what he wanted me to say. But what I'm not going to do is lie to my child. So I did say as a good effort, but
that's not good enough for him. But
it wasn't because this is how I'm learning. Okay, yeah. I'm learning to deal with myself and his body. Yeah. So I said good effort, but what I need you to do is get the grading criteria from your teacher and compare what you're going to be graded on versus what you've done.
Yeah.
Because it was sloppy.
Uh-huh.
And it would not. So yeah. But then he's like, so I was like, but why are you going to your daddy? Because I'll be in the middle of a sentence and he's coming. And he's like, oh, daddy's doing something. But what am I? I'm not doing nothing.
And the thing is, I never told him I was doing. I was literally sitting with his brother and sister in the game room. Sitting with him. And he was like, but you're busy. Yeah, I told you, come to me. So, yeah.
I don't get it. But as I said, I'm learning to deal with him. And that's why, even for myself, like I said, I'm starting to set smaller goals. Mm-hmm. So he had to do that, project thing for 3 subjects. So I told him, I was like, instead of trying to do all 3, let's just work on doing 1 page. Let's do 1 page at a time. And tried to break it down so he wouldn't try to
do it all,
be overwhelmed, because that's what's happening. And that's why I think it's good to set small goals, is because you become overwhelmed with the larger issue because it's like the bigger the transition, the more out of control you can feel because it's so like overwhelming.
That makes sense though, because I was on Saturday. I was telling him, I'm like, okay, you finish this page, now do the rest of your pages. But well, let me I was like, no, just do them all so you can print them all, and then you can cut them all. He couldn't do it. I was like, I just finished that one.
Yeah.
Just finish that. Finish the first side. Then when you don't, let me look at it, and then you can move to this. But I was like, in my head, I was like, that don't make sense. Just do all three of them, print them, and then you cut each one and put them. Like, you couldn't do it.
Like, parenting is hard.
Could not do it.
Especially when you're parenting yourself. Like, because I would, that's what I would have done. That's why I was trying to get him to design everything. Yeah. And then that way you'll know it'll fit, and then print it, cut, and be done. But this was like, I realized that it was still too big. It was still, even though for us, it wasn't that big of a deal, but for him, it was huge.
Yeah, it was.
So we have to break it down even smaller. And that's what I would recommend too. Like don't judge or be hard on yourself if it might seem like a relatively small task or transition to someone else, and you seem to be struggling with it. Because if it's big to you, it's big to you, and that's all that matters. And you need to take it and you break down that transition into small, achievable steps that are relevant to you. And that will help you be able to overcome the transition. Yeah. Because I don't care if you think that it's small and I should be able to handle it. If I'm struggling with it, then, with that transition, then I have to do whatever is right for me. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to deal with it. You're not dealing with it the same way that I am.
I'm not putting that, not so much a priority, but it's a different priority how you may have put on it.
Right. Yeah. So, because even with my paper, I was feeling overwhelmed. I'm like, I was so far behind and everything. But then I'm like, I'm going to just answer, because they give like little prompts. And so I was like, I'm just going to answer the prompt. And then after I finish answering that prompt, I'm going to answer the next one. And then after that, I'm going to put it all together and I'm going to make it into a paper. Like, I'm going to put it together and I'm going to work with transitions and all that stuff and references and all that stuff. But it was like, I had to break it down so that I can also especially because I'm a avid list maker. I love a checklist. Okay. To-do list, honey-do list, checklist.
Make you feel like you've accomplished something.
Yes. And by doing that, then this is why I like my planner now, because I literally can check off things.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So that's kind of how like the setting the small goals can also help you if you're like me in that regard. Staying connected is another recommendation. And I think this is a good one. Because like I said, with everything going on, I was feeling a little bit of resentment. And I think it was just because I felt like I was alone in it. Like, just, I had to, I not necessarily saying that it was a reality. I felt as though I was the only one shouldering all of the responsibility of managing all these transitions and still making sure that we were successful as a household. And I was just like, I don't know if I can do this. Honestly, I was like, I don't know if I want to. I'm like, I should just, hey, whatever happens, happens. Kids, as long as they have a shirt and shorts on, top and the bottom, sneakers, they'll be good. But yeah, it was just like, it's so much. Why am I even bothering? But that's not fair. It's not fair. Also, it's not fair to Jay for me to exclude him in the decision making process, because this is our home. This is our relationship. So if I'm like to the point where if I can't communicate it effectively, then I need to figure out what mechanism I can. So if it's writing it down and leaving it as a letter to him or whatever, or just writing in my journal and just like, hey, I need you to read these pages, whatever, or if it's an email, if it's a voice, because that's what we've gotten away from it. But one thing we used to do, instead of just sending text messages, especially if we were talking about something that could be read in a tone,
That's a good
We used to
point.
do voice notes.
We used to do voice notes, yeah.
So
you can hear the tone.
You can hear the tone, right. And plus, you can be more thorough. You know, when you be texting, you be abbreviating and autocorrect. It's like a whole. So, just quickly do a voice note. And that way, you can at least get how you're feeling in that moment across without,
That's a good call.
So we need to go back to doing that more so. Because I find myself, I'm like, I don't feel like texting. This is really what I do. I don't feel like texting. I'll talk about it with him later.
And then I get home late, and then we don't. And
later,
talk about it.
exactly, later never comes.
Yep.
And that's why we was like, okay. So that's why when transitions go unaddressed, it creates distance.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, what are you doing way over there? I'm over here.
And you talking
like you're way over there. See, I'm trying to. I be hating sometimes. But that's how you grow apart when you're just letting all the small things. I mean, I feel like it's more of an accumulation of small things that create separation and disconnection.
This is like sweep things under the rug.
Exactly.
You keep sweeping it. It's gonna continue to just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So,
right.
Same thing.
Yep. All right, and then the last tip that she had was just practicing self-compassion. Understanding that change is difficult, but change is literally a part of life. Nothing stays the same. So just being kind and compassionate to yourself as well as your spouse as you're dealing with these transitions. And that's something I feel like I have to have it more for me as well. Well, that's not true. I need to have it for both. Because I'm a perfectionist and I always feel like it can always be better. And it's fine because like you can strive for perfection, but you should really strive for excellence instead of perfection. And that's what I'm trying to work on. It's like as long as it's good, because even with my schoolwork, I'm like, let me just read it one more time.
She reads it a whole bunch. One more time is like 15 times.
Yeah.
Let me read one more time. It's like
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just like, changes. It's a part of life. Some changes will be easier than others, but it's okay. And just to have that grace with, for each other, or with yourself. And then what I was saying, I do need it for you is because yes, we're married and we've been married for almost 13 years now, but he's a whole individual. He prioritizes things differently than I do. He thinks different than I do. He approaches things differently than I do. Right. So just because his response isn't what I would have liked or what I want doesn't mean that he's not in it with me. It just means we're approaching it from with two different methodologies. So it's about us talking, and then also about me letting him do it the way that he wants to do it. And being okay with that.
Yeah.
Even if he does things that make no sense. But
like The Office.
Oh, I won't even go in there. But yes, that's one. I have to figure that one out sooner versus later.
Yeah.
But no, I was really talking about our road trip.
Oh, driving.
So he had to prove to himself that he could drive all the way by himself.
Yes.
Absolutely no reason.
I had no reason
to it. No logic behind it.
No.
But you know what? Do I make a big deal about it and give him a hard time while he's driving? No. I just like, fine. You want to tire yourself out? That's on you. You good? You good? Okay, cool. I'm gonna take a nap.
Yeah.
So I just I have to just let some things go. Also, some things are just not worth. It's just not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not worth making a big to-do about it. So it's just like, hey, understanding we're gonna do things differently, but as long as we share the common goal, like the end goal is something that we share, then it's gonna get there. We're gonna make it, and it'll be all right. even if he loads the dishwasher. Weird.
Hey, dishes, they get clean, right?
They
Dishes
do
get
get
clean, so
They do
it don't
get
matter
clean.
how I load them. They get clean.
They do get clean. That's his time. That's his time, too.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think I really like this talk. This
That-
is a good one.
that was
This is a
good.
good episode. Well, I don't care what everybody else said. This is a good episode for us.
Yeah, it was.
Some good reminders,
Yes.
as well as just some good tips about some things. I guess in summary, or to bring it all home, the most important thing is to realize that just like transitions are going to come is a part of life. You never want to be stagnant. And that's like in your physical life, as well as your relationship and your marriage to your spouse. You never want your relationship to look the same as it did on day one. It constantly needs to grow. It constantly needs to, evolve and change. So as you're dealing, because I know a lot of the things that we brought up today were really external transitions, but even within yourself, you're having, you're growing as a person, you're becoming different. So therefore the way you interact with your spouse is going to change, and you're going to have to you have to navigate those changes just the same in transition.
No, you're right.
So.
You're right. Everything you said, I
know you're falling asleep on the job. That's fine.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna keep yawning. I'm not falling asleep, but
Okay. It's fine. Everything's fine.
so
Anyways, y'all, thanks for watching another episode. Be sure to like, comment, and share. If you're watching, you can also catch us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, the audio version. And then follow us on Instagram
at the Bside of Marriage and Bside of Marriage on Facebook.
Yes. Until next week. Peace.